What's up, guys? I'm Travis, and you're watching Upgraded RC. Come on! Come on! Well, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you've been out there just tearing it up and having an awesome time with your rig. Guys, I did something recently to this bomber that had amazing results. I can't believe the performance I got out of this by doing this one small thing. And guys, I'm going to show you how to do it for less than 20 bucks, so stay tuned. I know this isn't stock by any means, guys. You've seen me put trailing arms on here, suspension upgrades, axle upgrades, you name it. I've thrown it at this, but I've never stretched it out before. Now, all I did was take and add some longer rod ends. And I know you're thinking, well, why are you doing a video on that? Anybody can add longer rod ends. That's easy. Yes, it is. It's easy. It's cheap. It's very simple to do. But what I'm doing this video on is what you have to fix after you do that so that your suspension still works really good. You're getting the full travel out of it and all the suspension. There's no binding, no issues, which I did encounter after I did this. So I had to do a couple things to make this correct. That's what I want to show you. I'll also go through and show you the rod ends that I added to this and all the different ones that you can use. And this will work on any rig, guys. It might be a little bit different on yours. You might have different issues, but it's all kind of the same concept. So with that being said, I'll show you what I did. And this really did make such a huge difference. On my backyard crawler course out here, I've got one line that I have a hard time getting up with the bomber. I can do it every now and then, not all the time, but it's pretty difficult. After I did this, that 10 millimeters, that little bit, I can walk up it right now every time. Super simple, easy, really low wheel speed, no wheel spin, nothing. So here you can see all the control arms underneath this 4-link suspension setup, and you can see the blue rod ends that I've installed here. Now these rod ends are made by RPM. I'll show you what I used and all the different ones you can use, but these are exactly 10 millimeters longer than the stock rod ends, which what's going to happen? That's going to push your axle forward by 10 millimeters or 3/8 of an inch the same. So that's what stretching it out is, and that gives you that little bit of advantage. One thing you're going to want to make sure that you can get by with here is your drive shaft. Make sure that your drive shaft has enough spline left in it so that you're not going to pull this out when your suspension is maxed out to its full limit. I didn't have any problems with that. I am still running the stock bomber drive shafts on here. Like I said, I've got the trailing arms in the rear, so there's not much I can do back there to stretch it out. Maybe you guys have got the links in the rear and you want to add some rod ends there too. If you do, just keep in mind that you don't want your rear drive shaft to get stretched out any more than it needs to either and fall out.
That was awesome.
So here are some of the different rod ends that are available out there. And this one right here, this 5347, this is the stock rod end that the bomber came with, okay? This right here is also the same stock size, just a different color and made by RPM. Now this is what I ended up going with here. These are the RPM 10 millimeter longer rod ends. Okay, I'll let you know what the part number is here and I'll put a link in the description for you guys, but you can get these in different colors. Like I said, I use blue, there's green here, I know there's yellow and red and black if you don't like the colors. And then there are different rod ends as well. So basically you're just looking around to see what you can find for what you're trying to do. I mean, look at how long these rod ends right here are from Traxxas. This is 8646 is the part number. These are almost 20 millimeters longer, so these are quite a bit longer rod ends. I did not have a use for those. It would make it way too long, but depending on your rig, maybe that's what you're looking for. You just kind of got to do a little bit of research and find out what's out there and what length you're trying to obtain, and then which rod ends you need to do to make that happen. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description there so that you guys can see the ones that I used, and then maybe just look around and see what you need. So after installing my longer rod ends, I came up with 3 issues I had to take care of. The biggest one being the front bumper. So from the factory, Axial has installed this flat plastic piece here on your bumper, and I'm sorry it's not there no more. I've already cut it out of the way. I wanted to make sure this would work before I made a video on it. But there's a flat plastic piece right here that Axial has added for support to this front bumper. I went ahead and took a Dremel and cut all that off, so now you can see it looks just like real tubing on a real bumper. Now guys, I'm here to tell you, you do not need that flat plastic for support here. Once you stretch this out, your bumper's not going to hit anything anyway. I mean, maybe the occasional rock or something, but for the most part, your tires stick out a lot further than your bumper does. So that took care of me hitting the top of the servo. And I thought, well, great, but I'm still not getting the full amount of suspension travel out of it. Why? Because now my bumper's hitting the top of the servo horn right here. So I can't do anything else to cut any more out of the way here, so I thought I had to stretch it out some. I went to my local hardware store and I got these little black spacers here. These are 1/4 inch by 5/16, and I got the correct size. If you look right here, if I put this up against the bumper, it looks like it's part of the bumper, like tubing. It didn't change anything at all. So that worked out really good. I drilled these out to the correct size so that they would fit over here. And I mean, it's really a tight fit, guys. It snaps on here once I get it on here, but it's very, very difficult to get it on here because I drilled it so tight. I don't know if you can see, but see how this side does not have the spacer and this side does? That's what you're looking to do, so that it's going to push your bumper forward 1/4 inch, and it just barely missed my servo horn here. So that worked out great. And one of the other issues that I had was the stock LED light right here. When it goes down, it hits the top of the servo. So that was keeping me from getting the full suspension travel as well. This was a simple fix. I just went ahead and loosened up the mounts for the LED light here and moved it up, so that took care of the problem. But that created one more problem by doing that. Now my hood wouldn't open up all the way to access the battery because my hood's hitting the top of this light. So I had to go ahead and trim that off as well. So for the bomber to be able to be stretched out, guys, like I said, I cut this flat plastic piece off here. I added some of these 1/4 inch spacers here to stretch it out a little bit, moved up the LED light, and then trimmed the front of the hood. And that's it. It was super simple to do. It took me a little while to figure it out, but once I got it figured out, that's all I needed to do. Maybe on a different rig, you're going to have to do different things because you're going to entitle different, or you're going to find different things that are going to cause issues for you. So you just got to find out where it's binding and make sure that you take care of that and your suspension is traveling to its full length, to the max distance. And that's it. So let's go ahead and put this bumper back on, and I want to show you how it just barely clears now. One thing I did not mention, guys, is there are 4 mounts to this bumper here where you will have to add 4 of those nylon collars. And besides that, you'll need a longer bolt in each one of them 4 mounts because the shorter one won't quite do it anymore. But that's it. And here I've taken the camera to show you guys straight up and down. You can see my servo horn right here. You can see the servo. As I come down, you can see how this lower bar right here now is clearing everything, and I can max out my suspension to the full. Super simple, guys. Now, let me show you one more rig just so you guys know. This is my Phoenix right here, and you can see in the rear where I have added the blue RPM rod ends here that are 10 millimeters longer. Same exact thing as on the bomber. Now with this one, the issues that I had were the shock towers that hold the shocks on the top would not let me do that because they were binding. So I had to move them back to the next hole. And then I went ahead and took my fuel cell and I had to cut some of the plastic off the fuel cell so the shock towers would clear. So what I'm trying to say is with every rig you're doing this with, there's going to be different issues that you encounter. Just find out what they are and fix them. It's not really that big of a deal. Well, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I love being able to explain things to you guys and show you the tips and tricks that I'm doing so that maybe it helps one of you out down the road. Maybe you're wanting to stretch this out and you've got issues and I just showed you how to take care of them. But until next time, guys, go out there and bash and crash and crawl and have fun. Have a great time. Do whatever you need to do that makes you happy because that's what it's all about. I'm Travis. You're watching Upgraded RC.
Peace out.